What is going on, YouTubers? It's Jeremy Johnson with the Indie Investment Group. Got a quick update for the week. Talk a little bit about taxes and why I'll be paying more in taxes than I necessarily need to pay in taxes. And just a quick update on lending and how all that's going as well. So stick with me. So this week, reached out, spoke with my accountant, and we're starting to go through the process of doing everything for the taxes that we need to do personally and for the business. Of note is that when you're lending and when you're actually in the process of going to be getting mortgages, if you're actively investing or you're looking to be investing soon, one of the things that you need to be looking at is trying to keep your income as high as you can, and so therefore you end up paying a little bit more in taxes. It seems a little counterintuitive. But the truth is that you want to be making more money and then maybe deducting less. So for myself, I'm showing as much income as I possibly can. I'm not deducting as much as I normally, or as much as I'm able, I guess. And I'm trying to maximize my lending and borrowing potential going forward so that you look better for your lending purposes. So it's a little bit different than how you normally would go through taxes. You would normally not call everything you would normally call as income, and you normally would maximize every deduction you possibly can. So a little bit different than how it's normally going to be. So I will end up paying a little bit more in taxes, but it should pay off in the long run as we go forward. Also of note, I reached out to some lenders. Now it's very true that if you are trying to get a residential property into an LLC, what you're going to find is that your lending becomes almost impossible. We had this problem before when in Virginia when we had the other property. What we found was that once we were in an LLC, there was no way of getting an easy mortgage on it. They just don't do it that way, because what's normally happening for an LLC is that they want to do a commercial loan. And on a residential property, a commercial loan isn't necessarily what they're willing to do. So almost all of your larger banks will not touch it, will not put a residential mortgage into an LLC. So you're forced to then look into smaller banks. I got turned on to this idea from a number of other investors. A shout out to Matt Faircloth if anyone follows his channel. But he mentioned in one of his previous videos that is the only way to really do it with an LLC, is to reach out to a smaller community bank who is willing to lend to an LLC on residential properties. So I reached out to a few of them and I got a call back, and I had a very good conversation. I'm very excited to be moving forward with a relationship with one of our smaller banks. And if we do go forward with them, I'll share all that with you. Before I share all their information, I want to make sure they're comfortable with that as well. But I'm going to be doing everything with them as I go forward. One of the things that lenders look for whenever you're dealing with commercial loans, it's a little bit different. They usually look at portfolio loans, so they're going to want to look at all of properties. They're going to want to make sure that you have a certain amount of value. They're only going to lend on a certain amount. You can't get 80% or 90% like you can in residential. What we're going to get instead is 75% loan to value, which I had already anticipated anyway. The other thing that they want to do, though, is they want to make sure that your income is enough to offset the debt service. So what they have is what they refer to as a debt service coverage ratio, meaning that your income minus all of your operating expenses, so your net operating income is at a relationship to the debt service, or your amount of payments for the years, to be over exceeding, and they want like 1.25 is pretty much the industry standard. And when I talked to them, they were saying that's a 1.2. Why that's important is because there are a number of people who want to invest and they look at buying a property, and it might not necessarily cash flow to the level that they want to. But if you're wanting to put properties into an LLC, you have to be at cash flowing properties at enough of a ratio after expenses to possibly get a loan on it. Otherwise, there's no sense doing it. So that's why I stick with properties that cash flow and appreciate. We want both. I don't want just one or the other. Because you're going to find that it's going to really paint yourself into a corner. So I'm very excited that we're going to be moving forward with this. The LLC is going to be able to start taking the property into it, because right now the duplex is owned in my personal name, not the company name. So hopefully we're going to be bringing the duplex into the LLC, hopefully be able to do all of that. The other thing that I've got going on is that we're going to be closing tomorrow on the mortgage for the other house, and that mortgage will then allow us to then fund all of the renovations for the duplex, and I'm going to be able to pay off the initial investor who fronted the money for the duplex. So the duplex was purchased for $90,000. The investor is going to get $90,000 and some change. Basically, they let me borrow $90,000 for 3 months. They're going to get their full amount back, plus some for their interest. So it helps for my investors, and you want to keep your investors happy so that way they're willing to do it again. And then I had to make sure that I wasn't going to tie up their money for too long. And then now the duplex will go forward. We have the mortgage on the other property, and it'll start to generate money that way. And then the duplex, very shortly, next week, hopefully, I'll be able to provide an update on where we're at with it as we start the renovation process. I actually did have a very good conversation with the general contractor who's going to be helping me out with all of this. Who's going to basically be coming in and doing a lot of the other work. So lots of exciting stuff coming up. I really appreciate everybody's interest, and please let me know by liking, subscribing, or leaving any comment on any way you can. Just let me know if you appreciate this, or if you want to be my personal cheerleader. I absolutely appreciate it. As you can tell, we actually had some changes around here. I'm not wearing glasses this week, and the main reason why I'm not wearing glasses this week is that I had a couple of different subscribers reach out to me and tell me that the glare from my glasses was pretty bad, and I absolutely agreed. And I've been wanting to do something about that anyway. Well, this is the easier version of that. I just put my contacts in, make sure that I shoot it that way, and then I'm not wearing my winter coat anymore because I am shooting this in my garage, and it's not as cold out here. So I'm able to actually enjoy it a little bit better. So hopefully I can continue to do this and continue to make these changes, and hopefully you all continue to like it, and hopefully someday monetize this enough that I can actually go ahead and get some better lighting. That'd be great. In the meantime, stick with me as we start this whole journey together, and I'll see you soon.